Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. My name's William. This is a Set Corsa Competición, and today I'm going to be driving the Maserati Granturismo MC GT4. Going to be giving you guys a hot lap so you can kind of get an idea of the way the car looks on the inside, the dash, all that good stuff, as well as the way this car sounds, which is quite beautiful. Um, then after the hot lap, kind of giving you my initial impressions of the car, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what I think you should know about it, and then going on to the setup and kind of going over some of the things that are adjustable, aren't adjustable, and all that kind of good stuff, good information in there as well. So without further ado, we'll actually just go ahead and jump into the hot lap, and then I'll be back to talk to you guys over all that other stuff. So enjoy. All right, that was a hot lap in the Maserati Granturismo GT4. My initial impressions of the car, it's a ton of fun to drive. This car has no electronic aids, so no ABS, no traction control, nothing for you really to lean on. Um, because of that, like even on a dry track here running like this, it can be a challenge. You can definitely push a little too hard into a braking zone, lock up a wheel, get on the power a little bit too early, and it'll spit you off the track. It's not to say that it's impossible to drive because of the lack of driver assist, but um, it does kind of keep you on your toes a little bit more, and it challenged me more than the other cars did for sure. I quite like that in a car. Um, I like kind of pointing out what I'm doing wrong, or making it about nailing my breaking point exactly at that point. I can't rely on ABS to kind of bail me out if I mess it up, or traction control to bail me out if I get a little bit too hard on the throttle, that kind of thing. So it's a very raw car. If that's what you're looking for, you should definitely try this out. I think it is going to be challenging to drive pretty quick. The car has pace, I think, but to really get the most out of it, I think it's going to take a lot from the driver. It's challenging, kind of like the crossbow, but they're very different in different ways. So I prefer this. It's just more of a raw car, and it's gonna be more about um, keeping your pedal work in check. Whereas I think the crossbow is going to be driving the car the way it wants to be driven, kind of in turn in middle of the corner. Um, to each their own. They're very different cars, but they are both very challenging. The other thing I will say about this car, it hits you basically immediately whenever you get in it. It sounds great. This is, I think, my favorite sounding car out of the entire pack. It just sounds uh, brutal. This entire car is pretty raw feeling, and I quite like it. The only negative thing I really had to say about it was its kind of response over the curbs and high speed corners. It feels a little floaty in the high-speed corners, and over the curbs, it was kind of getting this weird extra bit of rotation. Um, it would really, if you hit a curb kind of wrong, it was pretty easy to get a little bit of a tank slapper on, or it just basically spit you right off the track. But you can see the time here. Like I said, not setting the world on fire with the times, but just for a couple laps. I mean, like that's not bad. I know that there's plenty of time in it. I broke a little bit too deep into turn one, and there's just more speed and some of the other places too, getting more comfortable. So I think this car definitely has some good pace if you put the time into it. You can take a look at the setup here. So you've got all the adjustability that you'd want for your camber, toe, tire pressures, and your caster. Like I said, no traction control, no ABS, and no ECU modes. So nothing really electronic to change anything here. You can't even change like a throttle map or something to give you a little bit easier time on power or anything like that. It is the way it is, and that's what you're running with. You do not have adjustable front anti-roll bar. You do have a good couple settings on the rear, however. Quite stiff springs for the max on the front of the car and on the rear of the car. But it's a pretty big range between the settings. You get three for the front and rear. Adjustable bump stop rates, but no adjustable bump stop range. And then your kind of typical up to 80 on the preload for the differential. Sadly, no fast bump, no fast rebound adjustments for the front and rear of the car, but you can do traditional bump and rebound. Um, It'd be kind of nice if it did have fast bump, fast rebound, just to specifically tweak its handling over the curbs. But that's also probably down to it having such stiff um, wheel rates, or such high wheel rates already initially on the standard setup. For the aero side of things, you've got a pretty big swing on the ride height for the front of the car, and also on the rear of the car. You can get the nose quite low. I think that's going to be really nice for handling, especially in the high-speed stuff. No splitter, and a, a fair bit of wing settings to choose from on the rear of the car. Not as many as some of the other cars, but still a pretty good amount. Also, I will say in driving this car, um, even without the traction control and kind of spinning the tires up and whatnot out of the corners, it's easy to catch just with kind of the handling that ACC has. It feels very intuitive, so I wouldn't be scared of that. Also, if you're maybe worried about the tires and everything, and how they might respond to kind of power sliding out of corners and whatnot. Uh, it actually seemed really kind on its tires whenever I was driving it. I think the thing you'd really have to worry about is locking a brake and sliding the tire that way, and damaging it and ultimately hurting your potential run if you're in a race kind of situation. But you're going to have to avoid locking up tires anyways, because that's no good for a lap. So those are my thoughts on the Maserati. I think this definitely makes a argument for the most fun car out of the entire pack. Um, so I hope you guys will try it out and give it a shot. It's definitely quite different than all of the other cars, if nothing else. So I hope you all enjoy. We'll kind of get back to more regular stuff before too long. So thank you so much, and until next time, bye bye.